It's Thursday, it's noon, and that means it is time.
Pushing off my sneakers to the ground, I do not jump, I move the earth down. Bear witness to the genius of my sound. Born at the bottom, but now I'm top down. Look, I'ma call it swagger. I slip through time zones like a cloak and dagger. Mad rubies on my chain, you can see your name bubbling, blood vein. Your girl's in my A because she's sipping on my champagne. That's right, 6 figures in my back pocket, and that's right, 1 million in my safe deposit. That's right, I'm trill all day, on my way to.
Yeah, so, just so we can have we are on here talking about Clemson, yeah, and they're, having to file a suit, and lo and behold, 2 days ago, they go ahead and drop the hammer on the ACC. Jason, your top line thoughts on this? Obviously, it's not shocking to us as we have been expecting this for a while. However, it is done now. The court filing has been handled. So, what are your top line thoughts on Clemson officially suing the ACC?
Yeah, I think we were all expecting this. Probably, to be honest, we're expecting a little bit earlier than we got it. I think expansion kind of slowed the process down a little bit, and then once you get all that sorted out, there's still some stuff to be worked out when it comes to expanding the playoff and the revenue sharing and that kind of thing. And I think that was the actual final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
When you give away so much revenue in the new playoff deal, and it's absolutely, it's completely obvious that you're losing all, any voice you had remaining when it comes to, the or having a voice in negotiations or anything. The ACC is not going to have any of that, man. It's going to be the SEC and the Big Ten ruling today, and you've got to get out, man. We all know about the revenue disparities and the gaps and how far behind the ACC is, and this new playoff deal. it only widens that gap some. When you start putting those numbers together year after year after year after year, man, those are significant. Those are significant numbers. The Notre Dame themselves is going to be bringing home. They're not even in a conference. They're going to be bringing home about the same as what ACC schools are going to bring home on a per team basis, man. And that something just doesn't sit right about that. But I think that was kind of the final nail in the coffin. And like you said, we've kind of been waiting for it. The days here, Clemson. I think they took the smart approach here. Let Florida State take the lead. Let the ACC, have to respond. Which the ACC actually, filed suit a day ahead of Florida State. But see what Florida State was doing, and then more importantly, see how the ACC would respond. So you'd have an idea of how they respond when you did it. And we all saw Clemson took a little bit different of a path than Florida State did, but the end result's going to be the same. They're both going to get out. It's just a matter of getting that exit fee negotiated down and where they end up.
Yeah. So a couple of my thoughts are: first, there is no coincidence that this news came out the day that the CFP announced their new revenue sharing stuff. To the ACC is like the redheaded stepchild of the other leagues, and so that was no surprise. And also, I think that this is for any of those fans out there looking for a Matlock kind of trial and stuff, you aren't going to get that. This is all about litigating this exit fee and stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Down to less than an hour. And so, think this is just the first of many steps they're going to have. However, it it is a significant, and so I think that the ACC has to feel like they're left at the dance without a partner, because Clemson has been a founding member of this league. They're one of the teams that could always stand up for the league. You have heard Dad talk about how much he loves the ACC and how he'll stand up for the conference. I feel like the ACC is sitting there now looking at Clemson saying,
"Motherfucker, you're the world's worst friend."
Yeah, because they're like, Where did you go?
Yeah, I think the ACC's reaping what they sowed, and if they don't know what the hell happened here, then they're oblivious, man. I think there was a lot of bad faith in the negotiations here. I think there was a lot of missteps going back a few years, even going back to the previous leadership.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they can wonder where their dance partner went all they want to, but all they need to do is take a long, hard look in the mirror, and that's the person that needs to be blamed here. Clemson's not been treated, as that one as over the years, especially over my lifetime. Clemson's not been treated like they're one of the biggest revenue drivers in that league. Let's put it that way. There's especially before the playoff run and stuff, man. There was just, especially going back to the extra year of probation and that stuff. But for me, it's going to be with this option coming up that ESPN has to pick up the rest of the television deal. I think it's due in February 2025. It'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out, because I'm thinking we're going to hear something about Clemson and Florida State and it being out before the end of the year, and destination points and landing spots before that February 2025 deadline gets here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was saying that they have a landing spot now. Yeah. However, you have to think that Clemson's trustees and Garnett and the president aren't going to, drop the hammer on the ACC without, at least some good faith discussions having already taken place. So, I think that, like we have said, the second that the ACC sells this deal, and honestly, it could, all be moved if ESPN doesn't renew their contract. If you're ESPN and you have FSU and Clemson saying, hey, we are out, the ACC is going to have to do some serious, finagling and stuff to even get ESPN interested. Because now the ESPN is tied to the SEC, so that is, a huge thing that you have to look at in discussing all of this.
Yeah, that's why I think we hear something before that date about a landing spot. And I'm with you. I don't think Clemson makes this move unless they are extremely confident that they have a landing spot somewhere in the Power 2. And anybody thinks Clemson's headed for the Big 12, that's insane, man. That's a lateral move. You don't do all this to make a lateral move.
Yeah.
You're just asking for the same. You go over there, you're asking for the same problems you've already got. And I see so many fans thinking Clemson's going to the Big 12 and with some of these other ACC teams. That ain't happening, man. I don't care what the Big 12 does from here on out. They're never going to have a seat at the table again, ever. And neither is the ACC. This is all about the Power 2 now, the Big 10, the SEC. If you're not in one of those leagues, you're not competing at the highest level. And that's what Clemson football wants to do. They want to compete at the highest level, compete for national titles. And this is the way. You got to be in one of those two leagues. And I fully expect they're going to be. Again, I'd be shocked if we don't know before the end of the year.
Yeah, so
probably one of those leagues told you might have gave them a little nudge to go ahead and do this thing now too. So I guarantee you, there's been, like you said, there's been some discussions going on.
Oh yeah, the way that Clemson has handled all this stuff, to me is the uh, professional and classy way to handle it. I was saying that FSU was wrong because honestly, all their stuff stemmed from them feeling like first the finances weren't where they needed to be. Then you had, the commissioner doing these underhanded deals with networks and stuff to where some of these TV rights, from what I have gathered, have the those schools have yet to see any of the money, and so you have first the financial issue, second a sleazy commission, and third they felt that they were screwed out of the playoff. So that was their reasoning. They were so boisterous and just loud with their discussion of this stuff. However, Clemson handled it, in a classy way, taking care of their due diligence and just making sure that they have all their ducks in a row. And so, I think that just shows the difference in the way the things are handled.
Another thing when you compare in the Florida State case and the Clemson case, the way the law is set up in Florida, they had to go about this publicly. Those board of trustee meetings have to be publicized and things like that and open to the public. You have to give the ACC notice if you're going to file suit if you're in the state of Florida. Those laws don't exist here in Clemson. They were able to do this thing more quietly behind the scenes, and the ACC was not able to file suit ahead of time the way they were with Florida State. So those all things give Clemson a leg up here. But another thing I keep seeing from a lot of fans is that Clemson signed up for this. But you know what? There are a lot of things that these schools did not sign up for. They did not sign up for. They signed up for a television deal that runs through 2036, not for one that had an option to be picked up in 2020 or an option that needed to be picked up before February of 2025 to keep it going through 2036. None of the schools knew about that. That is something the ACC did on their own. No schools voted on it, had no idea about it until they started looking into these suits. Another thing is these two lawsuits, the one against Florida State, the one against Clemson, no schools voted on those suits. The way they're supposed to be handled is supposed to be voted on. You got to have a certain number of schools vote on that thing and vote yes for it, and they didn't go about it that way. And that's even mentioned in Clemson's lawsuit. And then another sticking point's got to be the expansion and bringing on Cal and SMU and Stanford, who are just more money pits for the conference, man. Once if you get 5, 6, 7 years down the road and they start to become full members, that's just 3 more mouths to feed in a very, very from a piece of the pie that's so much smaller than what the others are getting. So, I mean, this is not what Clemson signed up for at all when the TV deal was renewed last time. So anybody thinks Clemson's stuck in this thing and this is what they signed up for, they need to sit down and shut up. You need to do a little bit more digging into this thing because you're not very, very well versed in what's going on.
Yeah, the fans are saying that, like you just laid out, they are not in the know. Honestly, is so stupid when you hear, these fans sitting here trying to act like lawyers and stuff. Look, Clemson is not going to file a suit in which they don't feel that there is a basis for it. And like I said, you have a commissioner who has handled things shady. He has, made these deals that the schools did not agree to. He has, made these, side deals and stuff. So, if there is anyone who should shoulder the blame for this situation, it's your commissioner.
And the last one. Both of them. I don't, I was never a big fan of John Swofford's leadership. When he was commissioner, I always thought he was way more or much more reactive than he was proactive. And that played a large part in the conference falling behind some of these other leagues. But I think there's been a lot of shadiness going on here, man, a lot of shadiness. And that's another reason why I think this thing's going to be wrapped up before the end of the year, because I don't think ESPN or the ACC wants to get into discovery.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that they do not want aired out in the public. That there's probably some things that we don't even know about yet that both Clemson and FSU are holding on to in time for a time they will need it. But especially when you start talking about the lower tiered rights and the deal with Raycom, man, and how that thing all one-sided in ESPN's favor, and the school's got none of that money, and Swofford's son working up there being a big wig. So I think there's a lot of things that they would rather not come out, and that's why I think this thing will get negotiated down, and they'll both be out by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have already seen some of the shit that has come out from the FSU side of things. That when you look at it, you're like, what the hell? What's the ACC thinking? How did they think that they could get away with this stuff?
There's a reason they wanted that television deal under lock and key up there in the league office in Charlotte. None of the schools have a copy of it.
It's not a lie, if you believe it.
The TV stuff. And really, when you are looking at this, you aren't just looking at the football side of things. I know that is the biggest storyline here. You have to look at the entirety of the stars school, and you have schools like Rutgers and Vandy, and they're going to be significantly ahead of Clemson when it comes to revenue.
Yeah, every school in the Big Ten and SEC is going to be, kind of dwarfing what Clemson gets from a television
yeah,
rating standpoint.
yeah. You're telling me that Rutgers deserves that shit? Come on, they can't do anything out there. So that is a the issue that I have is you have these schools that number one, bring no true benefit to a league outside of the geographic area, and they're getting that kind of money. You can't be serious. John gets in and says that everyone is already thinking,
I think we'd all like to see John Swofford deposed, especially if those hearings or those things are televised. Man, that would make some good daytime television right there.
Yeah, exactly. If you think that the ACC is going to let it get that far, you are wrong. It is going to end up as a settlement, and you're going to have the league say, fine, you want that, here it is, and you can go your happy way.
And I think it'll get negotiated down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as big a number as some people think. I mean, it's not going to be it's not going to be a minimum amount. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but when you're talking about compared to 140, 150, whatever it is, just the exit fee right now, I think it'll get negotiated down much smaller than that.
Yeah. And honestly, seeing these skills they're so hard behind the ACC means absolutely jack shit, because you heard ground at the press conference that we were at, Jason. He sat there and said, we are members of this league. We support the ACC. So I think that this is just, them kind of covering their ass around. They're going to wait and see what happens with Clemson and FSU. Because, at the end of the day, the second the ACC sells with Clemson and FSU, that is going to open the floodgates for these schools that want out to not have to go the route of suing. So I anticipate a lot of support from some of these schools that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Miami that Radakovich came out and said what he did, because I don't think I think right now for the ACC schools, I think there are two that and maybe three that have guaranteed landing spots in the Power Two. There might be one or two more, but I'm not sure Miami does at this point. Yeah. Maybe they end up in one of those, but I don't think they have gotten to the point where they know they're going to have a spot in one of these leagues. And until
thank you
got to play the company line. Yeah, until you know you got to toe the company line and keep up appearances and say all the right things. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Radakovich said what he has said, the things he said. Said he was surprised that Clemson went this route and they had all the schools have been and looked at the granite rights and examined them, and he was surprised Clemson filed at this point in time, and how they're solid and rock solid with the ACC or whatever it was. But yeah, to me, that goes back to not knowing where you fit in the future landscape and having to toe the company line.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that that they are just sitting there, sour grapes, and trying to, all right, what the hell does this mean for us? Because, look, they have to, if they don't have a landing spot, they have got to do their dead ass best to make sure that they have the ACC in a place where they can compete. So,
yeah, you got to keep that door open. You got to be smart about it, and kind of play both sides behind the scenes or whatever you want to call it. But you'll probably see more schools come out and support at ACC. I think North Carolina's was a little bit different, and I think most of the other schools will probably come out publicly and say they're with the ACC, but most of them are going to be in the same boat as Miami is. They're not going to have. There's going to be far more ACC schools than not that don't have landing spots in the Big Ten or SEC. There's going to be a handful to do, but there's not going to be a whole bunch of them, and there's going to be several that may be relegated to the Big 12 or whatever's left of the ACC, which to me are about to become glorified G5 conferences.
yeah.
But you got to toe the company line at this point if you're some of these schools.
Exactly. Just a quick update here. Michigan State is absolutely hammering Mississippi State in the opening game of the NCAA tournament. Let's see here.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, going, honestly, that is not something that I have delved into that much, and haven't looked through the grant rights, but if you say so.
Yeah, that thing's kept under lock and key too. There's not like copies out of it. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't think one school even voids the grant of rights though.
No, honestly, I disagree with you here. This is not going to be some long drawn court thing. This is going to get rectified fairly quickly.
Yeah, I believe so too. I don't think ESPN wants it stretching out for years. They need to know where Clemson and Florida State's going to be, and especially before they have to pick up that option on the television deal. You can't have this thing hanging in limbo for that long. Now, if it weren't for that option that has to be picked up in February, I might would agree with the ACC trying to stretch this thing out as long as possible. But ESPN's got a lot at stake here too, and they've got a big voice in this thing, even though they're not technically named in the lawsuit, or they're not one of the parties being sued. Let's put it that way. But I think they'll want this cleared up within the year.
Yeah. Also, the SEC Big Ten, will clear because that is going to increase their negotiating power with the ESPN and the CFP. So they are not going to want this to last any longer than it has to. They are going to want this shit handled quickly. And so, I agree, that there is going to be some resolution by the end of the year.
And I fully expect North Carolina to file at some point. That's coming. So that would be 3 lawsuits the ACC's fighting at the same time. And that ain't cheap. So that's another thing to consider here is how much money it'll cost, trying to defend 3 at one time. Again, I don't think it's going to be as long and as drawn out as it could have been.
Yeah. Let's see here. Have to go back to this Yeah. The ACC kickoff is going to be a blast this year. Jason is not going to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it works out that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So only you could play cruise that happens in the biggest, most controversial season.
All right, I got to clear that up. Wait a minute. No. I just made the mistake of telling. I told the wife she could do it anytime.
That's what she said.
Mid-June into July, because I was thinking we're good to go. There's nothing going on. I wasn't thinking about the kickoff being that last week in July. And of course, she picks the last week of July, and after that, she's done booked it and done paid for it. And then I realized after the fact, wait a minute, man, I bet you anything the ACC kickoff's going to be that week. And sure enough, when the announcement comes out, it's like 4 to 5 days I'm gonna be gone.
Yes, sir. So the only question we have for you is,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm the king of the brain fart, brother.
Oh shit! Yeah,
king of the brain farts.
Let's see. No, he is actually going to be on a cruise
somewhere in Mexico. So Mexico, not Africa.
That's scary shit there. You're going to have drugs up your ass and be trafficking them, or
I probably won't get off the boat.
Yeah. So perhaps the ESPN deadlines in Clemson. No, honestly, I think Clemson just file first the day that the CFP he sharing came out as a these to the and I also think that Clemson just decided to do it. They're ready. Yeah, there is no reason for Clemson to jump the gun on this or do anything until they had all their ducks in a row and were ready to officially have their name out there as, hey, we are the league. I think that honestly it has more to do with the uh, I think that it has more to do with first off them getting some kind of confirmation from a league that you have a spot, and second, it had to do with the CFC revenue sharing.
I'll be honest. I think Clemson filed when they were given the nudge to be quite honest. That's what I think. I don't think obviously I think you want to do it ahead of that February 2025 deadline, but I think there were a lot of things. Again, I think they'd have filed earlier had it not been for the expansion with Stanford, Cal, and SMU. If that doesn't happen, they probably filed late last year sometime. But that ends up happening, and after that, they were waiting on the revenue, how that new revenue was going to be divided up among all the schools to be official, and then you had college football playoff revenue distribution come up again right after that. So I think you wait on that to play out and get that officially done. And once all that's in the book, and then you get to go ahead from whoever. That's when you do it, and that's what they did. I think it was strategically set up that way.
Yeah, so Jason, go ahead and mark your calendar. For Indy next year.
My calendar for the last week of July for next year has already got asterisks. That's my telltale sign to don't plan nothing that week.
Yeah. Let's see here. You guys starting here so you can see ACC here.
Yeah, I don't know what the Wi-Fi options are, but I haven't been on a cruise ship in over a decade.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess there is honestly going to be lots and lots of stuff out there on the what this means and stuff for Clemson. Really think in the short term it means nothing. You're still in the ACC. However, at least, in Jason's opinion, all this movie happened was to expedite the settlement so that when the offer is made from a conference, FSU and Clemson can say, I am out.
Yeah, you know where you're playing football this coming season. You know where you're probably playing it in 2026. This thing would have to be. You have to file paperwork. I think summer of this year to get out of ACC for the 2025 season. That's probably going to be a little quick. So you're probably stuck in ACC for at least 2 more years. It's after that where it gets a little more murky. But yeah, this was the first step of the process. Had to be done. And again, I don't think it's going to be a long, drawn out process. I think it'll be, I think we'll know something for the end of the year. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get to this question here. Do you think Clemson wins the national championship this year? I'll say this. See, it's so hard with the 12 teams out. Think this year is going to have so many storylines and how a 12 team playoff works and stuff. A lot of it is going to be like the NCAA basketball tournament, where it comes down to who your match is in your side of the bracket. So, do I think that they have the talent? Yes. Do I think that their defense is good? Yeah. Think that their offense still has a little of the show me aspect to it, where you're looking at can receivers stay healthy? Can clothing continue to mature and and also can the O-line show improvement? I think offensively there are a lot of questions there. However, I think that this team has the talent to do it. It's just a different animal.
I can answer that easily. No. I don't think Clemson's winning the national title this year. No. I'm not even convinced they're going to make the playoff. I think they got the pieces in place to do it, and I think they're capable of doing it. But I'm not convinced they're going to do it. I wouldn't bet money on it. I think they've got everything they need on the defense. We've seen it, and defense travels, always does. For me, you still got a lot of questions on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm not going to be convinced. And you just said it. Show me. I got to see it. Cade Klubman's just not as far along as I've said it 100 times. He's not as far along as I thought he would be at this stage in his career. Some of those wide receivers haven't panned out, although I think he got help on the way, and I think there's some guys on that roster that'll, I still think Adam Randall's better days are ahead of him. Same thing for Cole Turner. If you can keep those guys healthy, you get Antonio Williams back this year. If you keep those receivers healthy, that'll go a long ways in this offense taking that next step. But for me, it starts and stops with Cade Klubnik and that offensive line, man. If you can get and it's got to be much improved play up front and much improved quarterback play. Maybe you got a shot and make a run. But to me, those are two big ifs. I think you're going to get improved quarterback play, improved offensive line play. I just don't know that they're going to take that big a jump in one season.
All right, yeah, because Kelly say we went through the schedule and we both had Clemson just losing a single game. So
yeah, I lean towards that right now, but I'm not convinced. I'm not. I wouldn't bet money on that prediction. When we go through that schedule one game at a time, I can see it being 11-1 and Clemson being ACC champions, and I kind of lean that direction because I'm not big on. I'm not nearly as high on Florida State this year as I was last year, and I didn't think they were a top 5 team going into last year. So I do think Clemson's plenty capable of making it or winning the ACC and making it to the playoff. But I do not think they are going to win the national title. I think once you get there, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah. Thank you. John is not happy with you. And so I think we are going to have to give Jason a new theme song.
Oh no! We suck again!
Let's be clear. I think Clemson's going to be much improved. I just don't think they're going to win the national title, man. I think Dabo's got them on the right track to get back to competing at the highest level. But I think they're still a year away, man. I think you get some of these 2025 guys in here next year, and I think they're going to have something.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think, that they have all of the pieces in place. It's just going to keep those pieces healthy and having them come together. I think that clothing, is going to, be much improved, especially, due to the fact that you have Chris Zia, who looks like he has taken a huge step forward just from last season and kind of having a deer in the headlights look at him. To this year, you have heard from a lot of the guys that have said that he has, more command of things, that he is stepping up and leading. So I think that having that guy that can, push him and stuff, has to either make him a improved quarterback, or either he is going to lose his job.
If he's going to lose his job, he's going to have to stink it up. That's how I see that. But you're going to find out exactly how close Clemson is to a national title week 1 when they face off with Georgia there in Atlanta. You'll know pretty quick whether this team's capable of winning it all. You won't have to wait until November. You'll know right off the bat. I'm not saying, that and it might, Clemson could lose that game and still know, you'll know. You'll be able to tell. You'll see it, man. It'll be the eye test that they always talk about. If Clemson can go out there and play with Georgia, even if they lose a competitive game, that right there would go a long way towards changing my mind about how or convincing me they've got a shot this year. You go up there and lose by 2-3 touchdowns, you're not going to feel very good about your chances.
No, sir. No, sir. So, yeah. Last thing here, real quick, is the baseball team. They are currently 19-2, and absolutely rolling right now. However, after going up to Duke and taking 2 out of 3 last weekend, they now face a red hot FSU team who is 19-0, jumped from unranked to number 12 in D1 baseball's rankings. So, Jason, what are your expectations this weekend as you and I will both at Doug Kingsmore to watch this series?
It's impressive what Florida State's done so far this season. You open the season 19-0, that's impressive. But let's be very clear, man. They ain't played nobody. They've had a midweek game against Florida, but I think other than that, they have played absolutely no one. Their first ACC series was against Notre Dame, but their non-conference schedule was about as weak as it could get. Still, it's impressive to go 19-0. We're going to find out about Florida State and exactly how good they are this weekend because this Clemson team is for real, and they get to come back home this weekend. That was a very good baseball team. Clemson went on the road and took 2 out of 3 from last weekend, and they're playing well offensively right now. And with guys like Will Taylor struggling a little bit, Ken Camarella struggling a little bit, Nolan Araki's not even been in the lineup.
Purify.
Hey, Nolan Araki's pushing 400. Purify's batting about 270, if I'm not mistaken. There's a little bit of a difference. My point is you're missing some key pieces that would make the offense better, which kind of lends some credence to my theory before the year that I thought that Clemson could lose some guys that they were 9, 10, 11, 12 players deep, and you could swap some guys in and out of that lineup with no drop off, and we've kind of seen that play out. That's exactly what's happened. Purify has been the perfect example of that. Once he gets that defense short up, he's going to be, whoa. He's so fast, man. But my only thing right now with Clemson, you got to get your Friday starters settled. Gordon's made 2 Friday starts now. He still doesn't look like the guy from last year. I know he was behind the other pitchers when it comes to getting stretched out or amped up, as Eric Backus describes it. He's got roughed up a little bit in both of his Friday starts. If it's me, and this is just if it's me, I'm at least having discussion of moving Tristan Smith to Friday. He's been that dominant. He's been that good. And he's far and away the best pitcher on this staff right now. But that's kind of nitpicking. You got to nitpick to find something wrong with this team that played so well over the season.
Yes, they have. And yeah. Hang on just a second here, because I am going to let you kind of, proud dad
she my daughter got to sing the anthem at the game Tuesday, and I gotta say, man,
she killed it.
I was, I couldn't believe it. Monday night, we drove up there Monday night, and I didn't get her up there till late, because I couldn't leave until after my show Monday night, so we didn't get up there after midnight, and she slept late, and I figured she'd get up Tuesday nervous as a wreck, and not one bit, man. It was Daddy that was nervous, not her. We went up there for sound check, and she killed it, and I knew she was going to be all right after I heard her at sound check, but I had some butterflies, but man, she absolutely knocked it out of the park, man. And Eric Bakich even stopped her in the dugout on the way out. He didn't know it was my daughter at first, and he stopped her in the dugout on the way out to tell her how good she had done and to come back anytime. And she killed it, man. She absolutely killed it. She left me a little speechless there, because I've seen her sing in group settings, like she's in this all-state choir and this Corliers thing at school. So I've seen those kind of things, but I've not seen her do it in this kind of setting solo. And I was speechless.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we are very proud of her, and just as you are. So
Bakich even gave her a little shout out to open his press conference Tuesday night, which I thought was very cool.
Yes, he did. And he said that, he wasn't sure where she got her talent from. Because
because I told him she's damn sure didn't get it from her daddy.
Yes, sir. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. It is always fun to get on here and talk Clemson stories. As a reminder, if you are interested in keeping up with everything that we have going on, be sure to check out the site allclemsontigers.com. Jason has tons of recruiting interviews, as well as we have stuff on Clemson suit and all that stuff that is on the site, as well as you'll find our baseball coverage and everything else that you could possibly want. And also Jason hosts his show Monday nights at 7 o'clock. So be sure to tune in to that. And Jason, you and I will be right back here next Thursday at noon for another edition of Hot Talk.
Mark it on your calendar.
Yes, sir. So for Jason Priester, I am Zach Clemens. Have a great day.
Hey, no, no.